comic fans? How is it going? Mike from the Hardcover Comic here. Today we're going to look at a ton of Hulk books that I got. We're mostly going to look at the custom binds here because they're prettier to look at than single issues. Before we get into that real quick, gotta mention organic price books. We have two promo codes you can use depending on your order size. THC2 gets you $2 off. THC Ship It Together, if you're getting 3 or more books, gets you 5% off. Amazing. We love organic price books. Best place to go for your graphic novels, omnibus, collected edition needs. Check them out. Links down in the description below. So these Hulk binds, what the heck is going on? For a very long time, if you've been a fan of this channel, you probably know I'm not the biggest fan of Marvel Comics, but I gotta give them a shot. I gotta keep trying if I can hope to change my opinion and become more open to the idea of reading more Marvel Comics. And a couple years ago at this point, a gentleman named Jeff was selling off a ton of custom binds and single issues for very lengthy runs on characters. That's where Matt got his, I think, Batman books. And all of his Spider-Man books. He has a huge, massive collection, I think 36 volumes of custom-bound Spider-Man single issues. And from this same gentleman is where I picked up these Hulk books. So that first volume was a custom-bound trade paperback. And here you've got the first custom-bound hardcover. You can sort of see the little design paperwork still in there. It's pretty cool. But this essentially collects, I think it's like I forget the exact numbers, issues 287. In terms of custom binds, I have issues 287 all the way through, oh gosh, I don't even remember. Up until essentially the reboot of Hulk, which I think is, who even knows, it's so many issues, a decade and a half of custom bound Hulk issues. So we're going to flip through a lot of those here. I've already read through the first 2 volumes. Really enjoyed it. The Bill Mantlo run is fantastic. Sal Buscema artwork. Phenomenal. I'm really enjoying it. Hulk is a very weird character for me to buy such a bulky set for, but I really wanted to dive in deep, and honestly, so far I'm very happy. The Hulk is one of those characters that I've always felt would be silly to write comics about, but there have been so many Hulk comics that it makes a ton of sense these all exist, and he's a well-beloved character. I'm currently making my way through this volume here, a lot of John Byrne stuff at the start, a couple annuals, a few issues, and then I don't even know who it moves on to since then because I haven't read far enough into it, but I'm very excited for it. So that's what I got in terms of custom binds, and then, Jeff had a bunch of plans to continue binding further Hulk runs and series. So essentially I got it from issue, I think, like 287, if not earlier than that, up to, I think, like 640 something like that. So well over 300 issues. Very excited for it. So everything I've got bound up until this point covers everything up until like when John Byrne comes back and they rebooted the Hulk with an issue number 1. I forget who's doing artwork with him on that one, but eventually it gets into the Paul Jenkins stuff and then the Bruce Jones run, moving into the McGinnis, Jeff Loeb, Ed McGinnis stuff. And the Greg Pak runs, of course, the epic Greg Pak run, which I actually showed the Planet Hulk and World War Hulk Omnis for in my previous graphic novel haul video. So Jeff didn't have all the single issues for Planet Hulk and World War Hulk, but he did include the Omnis in the set for me, so I have all that gap covered in the official Omni buy. So very exciting stuff. I do have a ton of stuff I still need to bind. Essentially everything from when they rebooted the series. So a few 150-ish, if not more, issues need to be bound by me, which I'm already getting started on. I'm very excited for it. I couldn't bring back all the single issues, but I'm looking forward to it. It's really cool to see the sort of progression of Hulk even as I flip through these custom binds, and then I look through the issues that still need to be bound, and then of course having read things like the Immortal Hulk, which is just absolutely incredible. It's amazing to see how the style has changed, how the types of stories have changed, and at times even returned to the past, to revisit ideas, to revisit concepts and storylines that had started, as early as the 80s and then brought back into the 2000s, with new takes and expansions on the story and sort of revitalizations of the stories. Very, very fascinating stuff. I'm so intrigued at this point. I'm very excited for this journey down decades of a character. It's kind of something that you dream of, especially in like a physical comic format, because it's difficult. It's difficult to get decades worth of a character. Even if you're getting official omnis, maybe for Spider-Man you can get a little bit, but there are huge gaps in between. And considering these are all original issues aside from Planet Hulk and World War Hulk, that's really adds a lot to it as well. It's very cool. The issues that I got run up all the way until the end of the Jeff Loeb run, which I think Jason Aaron took over the title afterwards. So I'd need to get the Jason Aaron run, then the Mark Waid Indestructible Hulk stuff, and then Immortal Hulk. And I think there was some other adjectiveless Hulk, some stories in between there as well. So I've got quite a bit of catching up to do, and to wrap up this Hulk binder, get it to a more recent state, if you will. I'm kind of conflicted on how to do that. It's very easy to get complete collections. That probably is the best way to go about it. So it will be unfortunate, but I don't think the stuff after Jeff Loeb will be done using, or Jeff Parker I think took over after Jeff Loeb. I don't think that stuff will be bound using single issues, unfortunately, so it will be slightly different in the bind collection, but this whole set is going to tell a crazy story by the end of it all, considering how I've gotten these, how I'm in a position where I'm even making a damn video about them is wild to me, and I'm really looking forward to it. There are original covers here, so you get all the gimmicky covers that were coming out at the time, cardstock covers, foil covers, whatever else there may be that's waiting for me within these titles. But I'm most excited for the stories and the artwork in between. I mean, flipping through this incredible artists. Like I said, Sal Buscema, a ton of others. I'm blanking right now because I'm not that smart, but I'm very much looking forward to it. I've read a little bit of the Hulk. I've mostly read the Bruce Jones run and the Paul Jenkins stuff. I've read quite a bit of the Peter David run, but not in its entirety, so I'm very much looking forward to getting to binge that one issue after another, using the original issues. It's also interesting to flip through books like this and see how like paper quality for a few issues would get a bit more glossier and then kind of go back to that matte look. It's very weird. Little ding on this volume here. A little weird, but it happens. I'm not sure what was happening with comics at the time, but there were definitely a lot of, like, within a single bind, you'll see from issue to issue the paper quality change. I don't know if it was multiple printings, what it may have been. Either way, it's also, kind of a trip to open up like the first volume or the second volume and see how aged that paper is relative to some of the paper that was, from issues a decade later. It's been a wild run. I'm very glad that I was able to pick these up. I was kind of hesitant, getting this much Hulk character I don't, haven't read too much about or too much of. But so far so good. I'm very happy with the purchase, and I'm very much looking forward to going over these in future videos in more detail, talking about some of my favorite Hulk storylines, favorite Hulk writers, runs, things like that, characters maybe, we'll see. But very much looking forward to it. So let me know what you think. What incredible Hulk runs have you read? Am I insane for doing this? Feel free to let us know down in the comments section below. Thank you all very much for tuning in. This is Mike from the Hardcover Comic. Until next time, as always, you stay classy, Internet.